Now we're joined by Tom Fitton, who was a victim of Twitter during the heyday of blocking and suspending, and he's with Judicial Watch. And Tom, this you tell me, should we be as excited and happy about this? It feels like the good guys won.
Yeah, we have the owner of a major platform who has, in every possible way, expressed a commitment to free speech. So I'm hoping, in the least, over the next few months, we're going to stop the suppression of people who question, and this is most of the censorship, government information and government points of view on COVID, on climate change even. And, I don't know where Elon Musk is on climate change, but a little more free speech can't hurt anyone.
Yeah, you're so right that so much of the censorship and blocking, they always say, well, if somebody's being violent or someone's being a terrorist or something, no, it's all been about contradicting the narrative coming from the political left, the government, and the mainstream media. I want you to listen to this. This is Ari Melber yesterday on MSNBC. Talking about the dire warning of what Elon Musk could do now that he's in charge of Twitter. And I think, Tom, he's actually revealing exactly what happened when Twitter was censoring people. Listen.
If you own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees. Or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else. And the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election. Elon Musk says this is all to help people because he is just a free speech, philosophically clear, open-minded helper.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty revealing, is it not, Tom?
Yes, and there's nothing that he described that wasn't done by these big tech platforms, including Twitter, where they shut down material about Hunter Biden just before the election. They shut down a sitting president in January of 2021, as you know. And, I'm sure you faced it. I know I faced it. Suspensions and lockouts from Twitter with no good reason or explanation. So there's zero transparency because, as we're reminded and beat about the head and shoulders repeatedly with the culture, they're private companies. Well, one of the other things we'd like to know is who Twitter has been talking to. I mean, Judicial Watch exposed that you had government agencies, specifically California Secretary of State's office, getting Twitter and YouTube and Facebook to try to, and sometimes successfully, take down posts.
Well, Tom, you Judicial Watch does tremendous work, and so do you, revealing some of these secrets. You just did this yesterday, talking about the DNC agreed to settle a complaint with the FEC. This is stuff voters need to know, and we know that they work hard to keep this stuff from voters. But can you remind us, what was it that got you kicked off? I think you've been kicked off a couple times. I'm not sure about that. But what was the latest thing that got you kicked off late last year?
Well, I had my tweets mislabeled as false and suggested they were false about election information, and wow. I know what I'm talking about. I had also said hydroxychloroquine is a safe drug, straight up. Didn't say take it for COVID. I said it's a safe drug.
Yeah. Twitter
had approved it. Someone had complained about it. They said it was fine. A few months later, they took it down and said I was locked out until I deleted it.
Wow.
And I said, what's going on here?
Yeah.
No response. They said, too bad, take it down.
And of course now, that's all that wouldn't be taken down, right? That's sort of like everyone agrees now that these are acceptable things. But at the time when people really needed that information, that's why that Twitter had become quite dangerous in their decision to deplatform people or take certain information down. I mean, do you think that it will get better with Elon Musk?
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to get better. It's not going to get perfect, and it's not going to get better immediately. But, he can start bringing back people like Donald Trump, at least reactivating his account. He can say, for instance, they just announced earlier this week, Twitter wouldn't accept ads from any entities that any ads that suggest climate change isn't what the left suggests it is.
Mm-hmm.
So is he going to continue suppressing information like that? And of course, the other big question is, are the other platforms Are they going to follow this freedom lead by Elon Musk? Are they going to allow, for instance, these left-wing fact-checkers to vandalize and mislabel controversial topics in a way that get them censored or suppressed and taken down?
Yeah.
I tell you, this is there's a big fight here, and Elon Musk should consider Twitter to be hostile territory when he goes in, just as Trump should have considered it when he went into the presidency. This is going to be a big political fight within Twitter, and they're going to come after him both internally and externally. This is not over.
Great point. And Tom Fitton's our guest, Judicial Watch. As Julie pointed out, you guys are the best over there at Judicial Watch with regard to shedding light on things, revealing secrets, transparency. As important as the free speech stuff is, and unbanning and unblocking and unsuspending, Elon Musk also announced that the algorithms of Twitter will now be, based on his decision as the new owner, will be open sourced, which means not only can people participate in it and utilize it for their own apps, but also they can see exactly how these algorithms have been working. Just from a transparency perspective, the things that we're about to learn about how Twitter's been operating, hopefully, Tom, is that in my opinion, I think that's the biggest value in all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I defer to the tech experts as to let us know whether that's going to be as useful as it might, as some suggest it might be. You know, my bigger concern is that the algorithms weren't followed. I mean, they had individuals, in my view, come in and specifically target accounts and target specific pieces of information on specific accounts. And, you know, if you're in their sites, they take you down. That's not an algorithm. That's just left-wing activism. And if I were Elon Musk, I'd recommend you bring in an outside law firm to come in and do an investigation as to what went on. Because in my view, when you're saying you're deleting material or censoring it and suppressing it for reason X, meaning an algorithm and just neutral application of the rules, when in fact you're just putting your thumb on the scale, that's engaging in fraud. And he needs to expose whether that company engaged in fraud, lying to Congress, regulators and shareholders, and of course to users.
Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, doing the good work here in the swamp. Judicialwatch.org. Get all the information, and also throw a little tip in the tip jar there, because that's what keeps Judicial Watch going. Tom, always great to talk with you, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Julie.